At that moment, seeing Princess Yueling's aura, everyone starts exclaiming, "Such an immense and overwhelming supreme energy! Could it be that the patriarch truly teaches Princess Yueling everything in such a short time?" Ning Tian then says, "I'll be going now." And he starts leaving. Seeing Ning Tian leave, Qin Haoran shouts to the Divine Kingdom ruler, "Father, are we really letting him go like that? What if he's deceiving us?" The Divine Kingdom ruler responds, "The legendary patriarch of the Heavenly Demon sect is extremely clever. Considering the strained relations between the Orthodox Alliance and the Heavenly Demon sect, he wouldn't be foolish enough to create more enemies for the sect." At that moment, Princess Yueling opens her eyes. She slowly descends from above. The Divine Kingdom ruler asks her, "Yueling, how is it?" Princess Yueling replies, reporting to Father, "I have fully mastered the highest form of the Supreme Primordial Palm." Hearing that, the Divine Kingdom ruler shouts, "The highest form?" Meanwhile, Qin Haoran mutters, "It's been such a short time, and you've progressed from beginner to ultimate mastery. How did I not realize before that you are also a peerless genius?" At the same time, he looks at Princess Yueling and thinks, Yueling has always regarded me as her rival. Now that she has mastered the Supreme Primordial Palm, my position is bound to be impacted significantly. The Divine Kingdom ruler then asks Princess Yueling, "Yueling, are you certain of what you're saying?" Princess Yueling conjures a powerful energy ball in her hand and says, "Words are meaningless. You can all judge for yourselves." She then gathers an immense amount of energy and strikes the ground with great force. Seeing this, the Divine Kingdom ruler exclaims in shock, "As expected, it's the supreme highest form of the Supreme Primordial Palm. My Supreme Divine Kingdom has finally produced a peerless genius after so many years." Hearing this, the people present all shout in unison, "Congratulations! Truly worthy of celebration." Princess Yueling then says, "No, this has nothing to do with me. I am not some peerless genius. All of this is the work of the Patriarch. The Patriarch created thousands of ways to comprehend the Supreme Primordial Palm. Every method is meticulously recorded, from beginner to ultimate mastery. As long as you are a normal person and follow the ancestors' recorded steps, you can easily reach the highest form." Hearing this, the Divine Kingdom ruler stands up and shouts, "Thousands of methods? But he mastered the Supreme Primordial Palm in just a few days. How is that possible? He is indeed the famous founder of the Heavenly Demon sect." He then approaches Princess Yueling, takes her hand, and asks, "Yueling, is what you said true? Then can you?" That moment, Princess Yueling replies, "Father, I know what you want to say. However, it seems the ancestor must have employed some minor trick. When I chose one method, the rest of the comprehension techniques disappeared." Hearing that, the Divine Kingdom ruler sighs slightly and says, "Enough. As long as someone from my Divine Kingdom can inherit the teachings of the ancestor, that's all that matters." Then, he loudly proclaims, "Transmit my imperial decree. From this moment on, no one is allowed to provoke the Heavenly Demon sect. Anyone who disobeys will have their entire clan exterminated." Hearing this, the people present shout in unison, "We obey the decree of the king." Qin Haoran then steps forward and says, "Father, isn't this unnecessary? If word spreads, won't it seem like our Supreme Divine Kingdom is afraid of the Heavenly Demon sect?" The Divine Kingdom ruler shouts back, short-sighted, "The Heavenly Demon sect's ancestor, and the Sacred Lord of the Jade Pool, do you wish to provoke two formidable enemies for our Supreme Divine Kingdom?" The people around begin murmuring among themselves, "The legendary ancestor is far more formidable than we initially thought." Meanwhile, as Ning Tian walks down the road, something suddenly comes to his mind. "Ah, I got so carried away, I forgot the most important thing. I should have stayed to enjoy their shock. There might have been some rewards too." At that moment, the holy son of Tianbao runs up to him and exclaims, "Patriarch, I've finally found you." Ning Tian asks, "Why are you looking for me?" The holy son of Tianbao grabs Ning Tian's hand, starts pulling him along, and says, "Sister Tian Mei is looking for you. Hurry and come to the Heavenly Treasure Pavilion." Ning Tian then asks, "Huh? What does she want from me?" Short while later, Ning Tian and the holy son of Tianbao arrive at the Heavenly Treasure Pavilion. There, many people are lined up, and as soon as they see Ning Tian, they greet him. Greetings, Patriarch. Seeing the grand welcome, Ning Tian smirks and says, "What an impressive display." At that moment, Sister Tian Mei arrives. She looks at Ning Tian and says, "I've long heard of your legendary reputation. Seeing you today, you truly are handsome, extraordinary, and unparalleled. It is an honor for my heavenly treasure pavilion to bask in your presence." She then steps closer to Ning Tian and continues, "I didn't expect the mysterious emperor at the auction to be the legendary ancestor. Ancestor, you are truly remarkable." Ning Tian responds with a smile, "Nor did I expect the top auctioneer of the heavenly treasure pavilion to be its pavilion master. You are not ordinary yourself." Meanwhile, Sister Tian Mei thinks to herself, very few people can resist the interference of the fragrance of enchantment. How is he so composed? She then looks at Ning Tian and says, "With just King Realm strength, he's managed to deceive several emperors present. That kind of audacity alone commands respect." Ning Tian turns to Sister Tian Mei and asks, "So, Master of the Heavenly Treasure Pavilion, what brings you here today?" At that moment, Sister Tian Mei takes something out of her melon and says, "This is the spiritual currency that the Patriarch paid during the auction a few days ago. The Heavenly Treasure Pavilion has returned it in full, hoping the ancestor would consider establishing a commercial partnership between the Heavenly Treasure Pavilion and the Heavenly Demon Sect." Ning Tian looks at her and asks, "Tell me more." Sister Tian Mei continues, "Our Heavenly Treasure Pavilion is willing to provide these resources and offer a 30% discount to the Heavenly Demon Sect. Surely, the vast Heavenly Demon Sect must need a significant amount of pills, weapons, and other cultivation materials." Ning Tian then asks, "And your conditions?" At the same time, he thinks to himself, in such large quantities, a 30% discount would indeed save significant expenses. But why is the Heavenly Treasure Pavilion being so generous? Then, Sister Tian Mei steps very close to Ning Tian and says, "There are no conditions. I simply admire the ancestor, and wish to befriend you and the Heavenly Demon Sect." Ning Tian responds calmly, "Throughout history, free things tend to be the most costly. I'll deliberate this matter upon my return before making a decision." Sister Tian Mei nods and says, "Of course, if the ancestor is interested, you can contact me through Zhu Yuanbao at any time." Ning Tian then turns to the Holy Son of Tianbao and says, "Let's go." He then starts leaving. As he walks away, Sister Tian Mei calls out, "Patriarch, would you like for me to escort you back?" Ning Tian replies, "There's no need. I don't like being indebted to anyone." Then, he leaves without looking back. After that, Sister Tian Mei steps outside and gazes up at the sky. At that moment, an attendant approaches her and asks, "Master, is there really a need to be this accommodating to the ancestor?" Sister Tian Mei looks at him and replies, "Old too, say no more. As a merchant, one must understand trade-offs. The more you invest, the greater your returns." Scene shift, Tianhua sect, Tianling territory, Shizhou. There, Luo Wuqing asks the Grand Elder, "Grand Elder, have the people from the Orthodox Alliance calmed down recently?" The Grand Elder replies, "Not at all. I've heard a peerless genius has recently emerged from their ranks, which has made them even more arrogant, and, in some ways, more excessive." Luo Wuqing then says, "I see. Pass the word down. If anyone encounters those people from the Orthodox Alliance, show no mercy, hold nothing back." The Grand Elder tells Luo Wuqing, "I heard that the Supreme Divine Kingdom is recently thrown into chaos by someone named Ning Shu. Not only is their secret realm looted clean, but I've also heard rumors that he even disrupts the succession process of their royal heir. Is that true?" Luo Wuqing hears the name Ning Shu and starts thinking about Ning Tian. Ning Shu? Could it be? It's been quite some time now. I wonder how he's doing. Just then, a voice calls out, "Everyone, it's been a while." Hearing that voice, Luo Wuqing is startled. That voice belongs to none other than Ning Tian himself. Seeing Ning Tian, the Grand Elder shouts, "Your patriarch has returned." Ning Tian jumps off his bird and rushes toward Luo Wuqing, shouting, "Wife, did you miss me?" Luo Wuqing replies, "Not really." Ning Tian hugs her tightly and says, "But I miss you so much." The two people standing nearby widen their eyes at the scene. The Grand Elder clears his throat loudly and says, "Patriarch, did you gain anything from your travels this time?" Ning Tian takes out 3 storage rings and says, "Of course." Inside them are spirit coins, crystal essence stones, and many other treasures that leave everyone present in shock. Luo Wuqing asks Ning Tian, "Cultivation techniques, spirit coins, and crystal essence stones. Ning Tian, did you go robbing people?" The Grand Elder adds, "Putting aside those 5 billion spirit coins, just the crystal essence stones alone are worth an astronomical amount." At that moment, a system notification appears in Ning Tian's mind. "You've shocked Luo Wuqing. You've shocked the Grand Elder. Reward, faith cultivation range increased from tens of meters to hundreds of meters." Ning Tian then says to Luo Wuqing, "Wife, let me tell you everything slowly." 1 incense sticks time later. After hearing everything, Luo Wuqing says, "So, you actually won a bet with the Supreme Sovereign of the Divine Kingdom? What was the wager?" The Grand Elder exclaims, "Goodness gracious, you actually made a bet with an Emperor-level powerhouse. I never would have dared to dream of such a thing in my lifetime. Patriarch, did the Supreme Sovereign get so angry he nearly died? Won't this make the Divine Kingdom hostile toward our demonic sect?" Ning Tian replies, "Not at all. He should be thanking me. After all, I've given him an excellent heir." Then, suddenly, Ning Tian turns to the Grand Elder and says, "It's getting late, and the weather's a bit chilly. Grand Elder, you should head back to rest early." Hearing this, the Grand Elder looks a bit surprised. Luo Wuqing then asks, "Chilly? It's not dark yet, and the weather is pleasant right now." Ning Tian steps closer to her and says, "Separation makes the heart grow fonder. Why wait until nightfall?" Hearing that, Luo Wuqing's cheeks turn red with embarrassment, and she stammers, "You." At that moment, Ning Tian lifts Luo Wuqing into his arms and, using Dragon Step, swiftly moves away. As they leave, he calls out to the Grand Elder, "Grand Elder, please take these items and keep them safe for me. We'll properly divide them tomorrow." Standing below, the Grand Elder watches them for a moment before shouting, "Yes, Patriarch." On the other hand, Ning Tian carries Luo Wuqing into their room. He gently places her on the bed. Luo Wuqing immediately shouts at him, "Let me go. There are so many people watching. How can you act so brazenly in broad daylight?" Ning Tian steps closer and smirks, "Brazen? Wife, are you thinking of something improper?" Luo Wuqing, blushing, quickly responds, "I am not." Ning Tian chuckles and sits beside her, saying, "All right, I won't tease you anymore. I wanted to discuss something with you." Luo Wuqing looks at him and asks, "What is it?" Ning Tian explains, "There are 2 matters. First, Tianbao Pavilion wants to collaborate with our demonic sect and has agreed to provide resources at a 30% discount. Second, I'd like to use the 5 billion spirit coins and 5,000 crystal essence stones to build a teleportation pillar with the Jade Pool Holy Land." Luo Wuqing thinks for a moment and then says, "The demonic sect's expenses are relatively big. If we can collaborate with Tianbao Pavilion, the remaining funds can be used for other purposes. We could start by trying the partnership temporarily. And," Ning Tian says, "given the current tensions between the Orthodox Alliance and us, wouldn't having another ally be advantageous if a conflict arises in the future? Among all the powers in the Tianling region, the Jade Pool Holy Land is probably the most reliable." Luo Wuqing responds, "The Jade Pool Holy Land has always maintained neutrality. Are you sure they'll agree?" Ning Tian confidently replies, "Don't worry. I can tell that the Queen Mother of the West isn't opposed to my proposal. She'll persuade the others." Luo Wuqing thinks for a moment and says, "Our demonic sect has never allied with any other force since its founding. If it's your suggestion, though, it's worth considering." Hearing that, Ning Tian becomes overjoyed and moves to hug Luo Wuqing in excitement. Luo Wuqing quickly stops him and says, "You're this happy because collaborating with the Jade Pool makes it easier for you to meet those vixens, doesn't it?" Ning Tian smirks and says, "You're jealous, he he he." Suddenly, Ning Tian notices that Luo Wuqing looks a bit down, sitting quietly with a troubled expression. He gently lifts her chin with his fingers, turning her face toward him, and asks, "You're jealous?" Luo Wuqing scoffs and replies, Ridiculous. Would I get jealous over something like this? Ning Tian smirks, then pushes her back onto the bed and teases. Wife, now that we've discussed serious matters, should we move on to more profound topics? You really didn't miss me at all while I was away? Without warning, Luo Wuqing suddenly grabs Ning Tian by his collar and steals a kiss from him. After a moment, she pulls away slightly, looks into his eyes, and asks, "What do you think?" And then, well, they both get busy with their own matters. Guys, I think we all know exactly what kind of work they're doing. Meanwhile, the Queen Mothers are battling a dark shadow with the help of the coffin. A mummy-like figure suddenly speaks, "I am the true demon. Do you think a mere little girl like you can suppress me?" The Queen Mother glares at the demon and responds, "Impudent. I don't believe you can escape under the soul-locking coffin's seal." As she speaks, she attacks the true demon with the coffin. The true demon lets out a sinister laugh and says, "Jade Pool, Holy Master. As long as you can't kill me, I'll eventually return to see the light of day and bathe the Jade Pool in blood." With that, the coffin swirls around him, dragging him into a dark vortex. Just then, several elders arrive at the scene. One of them steps forward and says, "Holy Master, the Jade Pool has suppressed this true demon for tens of thousands of years, but has never been able to destroy him." Another elder adds, "Now, the power of the seal is gradually declining." The Queen Mother looks at the elders and says, "It doesn't matter. This soul-locking coffin is an emperor's treasure. He won't be able to stir up any trouble. As for my earlier suggestion to ally with the demonic sect, what do you all think?" The elders exchange glances before one of them cautiously responds this. "Perhaps we should hold a meeting and hear everyone's opinions." Without hesitation, the Queen Mother raises her voice and declares, "Spread the word. Summon all disciples to the main hall immediately. Let's discuss this major matter together."